Afternoon to all. I am Nitheesh Narayanan. Today I try to present here a study which was published by the Institute for Social Research. It's a research institute which tries to club the social movement and the academic activities. The basic idea is that your research should be part of a larger project of emancipation of the humanity. Otherwise, it doesn't make any meaning. To make a meaningful research, your academic endeavor, your research should be linked with the life of the people, not something which is happening at the somewhere else, distance from the actual life, the hard questions of the life in the ground. That is what Tricontinental Institute for Social Research is doing. You can also read that dossier next. The dossier in the next dossier, this dossier from the Tricontinental, that despite everything, cultural resistance for a free Palestine is the name. It's freely available in that Tricontinental website. I request all of you to go there and read, to have a detailed study. So why I chose this topic to speak today? We all talk about libraries. We all talk about cultural activities. We all talk about the different engagements of human being to make our existence more brighter, more joyable. Then the question is, what about the people, about the land which is being occupied? What about the land, about the people where bombardment is an everyday affair? What kind of a culture will be being produced and reproduced and saved in that land? That is the question. When we look culture in the Palestinian context, we will see how in the struggle of Palestinian people for freedom and homeland, how culture they have made a tool, not a leisure, not something which is for joy, but something which is very much part of their everyday struggle. So the culture itself becomes a tool of struggle. So what happens when a city is bombarded? When a genocide is happening, schools are destroyed, hospitals are destroyed, homes are destroyed, children's lives are destroyed. Along with that, next, libraries are also destroyed. What happens when a library is destroyed? That a generation is deprived of knowledge. A generation is deprived of the capacity to think. Humanity loses a public space where people can gather. That is what happens. So, this is one of the largest library building in the Gaza. It's Gaza Municipal Public Library, completely destroyed. You will see next. The next picture, it's one of the main book publishing houses in Gaza. It's called Samir Mansour Book House. This is also destroyed. Like this, you will see hundreds of small libraries, and also you do not need even libraries. When you bomb a home, you also lose as a home library. In 1948, in the Nakba, the catastrophe, when 75,000 people had to leave their homeland during Nakba, in a few years, from the library which was controlled by the Jewish state, they had abandoned, it's called abandoned property, around 70,000 books. It was called abandoned property. It was not abandoned property. It was the books which were left by the people who had to run away from the home. This is what happens to culture when war is taking place. This is what does to culture when occupation is taking place. But what happened to these book publishing houses was the next. This was that publishing house. This was the inside that one of the biggest book stalls in Gaza, which was destroyed, which you saw there. But people came together, contributed from across the globe, from different countries, and they ensured that this book house is also back. That is how culture becomes also a struggle, where people comes together and expresses solidarity. Next. Now the question is, what is culture? Is it something which is distant from our everyday life, or is it something which is shaped by our everyday existence or our everyday engagement with the society? Why culture is attacked when occupation is happening, when colonialism is happening, when a genocide is happening? Because there is a term which was used by, I think, Edward Said, that like genocide, there is also a memoricide, which means when there is a genocide happening, you do not only erase a section of people, a community from the earth, you also erase their historical memory. That is how you cut people from their existence. Then you say that these people didn't exist, that they do not have a history. To erase the history, you have to wage an assault on the culture. That is how, in the context of Palestinian struggle, it becomes important that every cultural production, be it a play, be it a poem, be it a movie, anything that becomes a struggle, because it becomes an attempt to ensure that our historical memory is kept alive. Whatever you do, means whatever destruction happens, we will keep this memory alive. Next. Yeah, so the cultural erasure is used to weaken the national consciousness, to tell that, see, there is a word you must know, people without land and land without people. To create this myth, you need to create a history, an alternate history. So you have to change. You will see whatever happening in India also, you will see the same thing. Started in Palestine very long back. So renaming the villages, cities, historical monuments, putting it into erasing all that historical names and giving new names and all. This cultural project we will see. In that context, it becomes next to next. It becomes very important for the cultural activists to take up this struggle. In that you will see, this is one of the articles which I wrote in the recent Malayalam weekly Madhubhumi. There you see Mohammed Bakri. Mohammed Bakri is a filmmaker, director, and an icon of cultural resistance of Palestine, who died a few months ago. Mohammed Bakri's quotes, his approaches comes repeatedly in the dossier also. So he says, my cultural production comes from the stories I heard from my earlier generation. So I keep telling it because I wanted that to be alive in my places. So in my movies, my stories, this is what I do. I keep repeating that we have a history, and I try to demonstrate it for the people and document it. This is how I contribute to the struggle of my people for their existence. Next, this is another person. He is also a writer, publisher, novelist. His name is Samir Jundi. I met him during the Sharjah book fair in this year. So I met him. See, he had a resident ID with his hand. Resident ID means he is a Palestinian who was born and brought up in Jerusalem. But he is not a citizen. He just held a resident ID there. And that resident ID he kept in Jordan before coming to Sharjah. Because he said that there is a chip in that. Wherever I go, they can track what am I doing. So he will go back to Jordan, then keep it. He was imprisoned 5 times in his life. 5 times. He says that I am not a drug dealer, but I do drug of the books. So I means take the books. I traffic. I'm not a human trafficker, but I'm a book trafficker. So I ensure that all these books will not go back to Jerusalem. He will keep it here, or he will keep it somewhere in Jordan or Iraq. So this book will keep rotating or traveling in different cities. He will go there and talk the stories of the Palestine. His latest book is about a family in Gaza where everything was destroyed. A family was living at the destroyed houses. They were not ready to leave that city. A mother and 3 children. In that there is a 12-year-old boy. Every day he goes out secretly, comes back with a bread, with something to eat, and also with a story to tell. So every time a boy goes out, he comes back with a story. He made a novel out of it. He kept a paper in his pocket, this 12-year-old boy, neatly written in that. So that was his will. He wrote that if I die, bury me near to my father. So he do not know when the death will come. So there even the stories comes from this everyday suffocation. Everyday means this assault, but they keep telling the story. They keep producing the books. They make their own bookstores and their own libraries. They make culture not an arena of enjoyment, but an arena of struggle, something. That is why we need to also to take lesson from the struggles of the people to see how to make culture a tool of struggle, to keep our consciousness open, to express the solidarity, to tell that the strive of humanity to build a better future will never be defeated. For that, 21st February, the world celebrates Red Books Day. It is a day where people celebrate the literature, library engagements, the literature for the human emancipation. Books like Saftar Hashmi told, पढ़ना लिखना सीखो वो मेहनत करने वालों, पढ़ना लिखना सीखो वो भूख से मरने वालों. Learn to write and read, the toiling people. Learn, write and read, those who die out of hunger. Like the breath told, the hungry men reach out for the books. Books, library, all our cultural activities are our tool to struggle to create a better world. That is the lesson from the Palestinian struggle. I hope we will take that forward. Thank you.